What's up?
What's up, brother?
Welcome to the Transition Podcast, Carlos.
Made it, man. We made it. It's been a while, right?
I've been wanting you to come on for a long, long time, but I've always said God works in mysterious ways, and it's His timing. And one of the things that I wanted to do with you was definitely not do it in the office. I wanted to be somewhere in this beautiful batting cage here at IM Baseball, which I want to give a lot of mad props to Nick Alvarez and what he's done here for baseball in Miami. I think it's amazing. He's built a state-of-the-art facility for these kids, and our children are blessed to be a blueprint, which we'll get into that. But the fact that his son Mako plays with us and that he allows us to use this facility, I think it's amazing. Look around you. I mean, this is not normal. You and I have had this conversation numerous times. So Nick, I want to say thank you. What you're doing with baseball and for children, I think we'll never understand that and appreciate that till these kids get much older. And we appreciate that, man. So
no, 100%. We're blessed. I'm sure you're going to take me down that road right now, but there's just a lot of good with a lot of good people, a lot of good energy, a lot of good human beings, and just a good movement. Good movement. It's not even baseball at this point, no?
It's not, and we'll get into that whole conversation. But before we start, Carlos, you grew up in Miami. You and I played against each other a little bit of times, but I always knew who you were. I knew you were a darn good hitter. I'll never forget playing against you, playing against Pace when I was at Coral Park. We were playing at St. Thomas University. Yeah. I was actually playing left field, and you hit a bullet in left center. And then, my little brother and your little brother are best friends, and he has a deep heart for Dominic, and who's obviously was another stud ball player, played at Vanderbilt, and now he's joining you and at Blueprint.
He's part of the family now.
He's part of the family. Yeah, it's amazing. So, but before we get started, just a little bit of background, for our listeners of where'd you go to school, where'd you go to elementary, and a little bit about Carlos, man.
Yeah, so real similar background, real similar path. All of us grew up in Miami, grew up playing baseball. We were either playing baseball or we were out on the water, one or the other, on a baseball field or on a boat. But I was very blessed, man. I've been very blessed in my lifetime to be exposed to a lot of special people that I guess have created who I've become. And the reason I think the way I think, the reason I am the way I am, I had a lot of good people come into my life. My parents did a great job, like your parents, sacrificing, pushing you, getting you, the best way that they could do it, they did it. They gave you everything they had. And then, I got a beautiful family now.
You do.
I got a beautiful family, a beautiful wife. That's the center of everything, me and her. That works, then everything around us works. But my path there has been cool. I went to St. Timothy as a kid, and from little, baseball in Miami is just baseball in Miami, and baseball probably the only other comparable is Texas and California.
Yeah, those are the three hotbeds.
That's it. It's a different world. It's a whole youth baseball is a whole animal to have to navigate as a kid, and a lot of our grind, a lot of our situational analysis, life situational analysis comes from growing up in that environment. I got through Little League, ended up playing baseball at Westminster Christian during what I think was
Kids go to Westminster.
What I think was the golden era of Westminster. I was blessed to play for Rich Hoffman.
The GOAT, right? The high school GOAT?
The GOAT. His last 2 years there, and there's a lot of people that got me to the point where I was able to go there, but as a freshman I was able to get on, and I can't even describe how special that environment was. I think everything I got after, it started there. That was hey, you just came to school. You just came and got a championship mindset, a championship mindset. It's about something much bigger than you, the individual. You're a piece, you're a spoke in the wheel. And when I saw the caliber of people there and everybody buy in to process, that's where process, okay, this is about process. And how good can we be at process? And can everybody commit to process, And then from Westminster, Hoffman, I had him there his last year. When he left, my junior year, he went to another school, and then the program kind of
Went in a different direction.
yeah, they were trying to figure, the school was trying to figure out what to do, and there was no clear direction. So a bunch of us from West got together and went over to Pace, and man, had a really good experience at Pace. We played for Tom Duffin, who's currently still there now. I think I had him, his first year as head coach was our senior year. And that's probably the funnest, I don't know if this will ever get to Duffin, but whoever played for him early on, that's probably the funnest.
Luis Gazatujo, obviously, he's one of my business partners and closest friends. He told me, I think he was with you at Westminster as well.
Yeah.
And then you guys would go to Pace. And he said the same thing, man. That Duffin was just a fun, intense dude, man.
Dude, think about this. We were a bunch of kids driving to high school. Our parents let us every day get in a car for an hour in traffic just to get to school. So talk about sacrificing and little things, and you're all in and committed to this baseball thing. Man, we were driving an hour and a half just to get to school, getting home every day, back in traffic, another hour and a half. So you're gone at 6, you're back by the time you're done working out. You're getting to your house as a kid in high school at 10 o'clock at night. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
It was a lifestyle. I mean,
it was normal, but man, I probably can't even share some of the stories from there. But man, in my 4 years of high school baseball, I won a state championship my freshman year, won one my sophomore year, got to a final my junior year, and my senior year we didn't get there.
So you went to 3 state championships?
3 out of 4 years. So
in Florida?
In Florida, in Miami.
In Miami-Dade?
Yeah, 3 out of 4. And then in between all that, there was just so many experiences, so many good people that came in the picture, opened doors. I ended up going to University of Louisville to play baseball. That was an incredible experience. So I played 2 years at Louisville. Fantastic. A lot of great stories about that place. And then I ended up
Big time program.
I actually ended up finishing up at Barry. And man, I don't have enough positive things to say about Barry University as a school. The conference they play in, the coaching staff, the people there. Man, that school set me up. So everything was always baseball, 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 baseball. When I got to Barry, man, something special happened to me in terms of it's almost like a clean start from a school standpoint. I was already a junior, you're all in on this baseball thing, and you're just hey, I gotta do what I gotta do to play baseball. But then when I got there, it was hey, let me think career. I got a chance, when you transfer, your GPA kind of starts over. So I got a chance to a clean start, and I kind of know what I want to do. I have this opportunity to go into this field. And that for me was a good transition of baseball to hey, I got an opportunity to do some cool stuff, real world, So it was fun, man.
Redirect yourself,
Yeah, so that's kind of my path to where I've gotten, man. It was baseball, baseball, baseball. Really good baseball, really good programs, successful programs.
You keep mentioning about good people, and one of the things that I love about that is that, to me, life is all about relationships.
100%.
And the relationships that, you're on this field and you're practicing and you're working hard and you're doing all that baseball stuff, and you don't realize that at the end, what you take with you is the relationships, man. It's like life, right? I mean, I always say, man, baseball is it's so close to the game of life, and it prepares you so much because you fail so much, you go through so much adversity. The game's not sometimes kind to you. It has no emotions. It doesn't feel sorry for anybody.
To some dark places if you let it.
It does, man. But I don't know that there's a better game out there that necessarily prepares you for life like baseball. And other sports do too. But there's just something about the consistent amount of failure, right? Well, we call failure, which is now I think failure is learning. And now you're an amazing accountant. You're running a hell of a firm. I know that you work with your father. Your vision is big. You want to take it to another level. JAG is a proud client of yours. So if you need accounting, do you need numbers? This is the guy. He will tell you anytime I want to make a little move, whatever it costs. I want to buy a boat. Can I buy a boat? You can buy a boat. So I run everything by him. He's my financial trusted advisor, man. But the one thing, Carlos, that has personally attracted to me, and this would be selfish, is you coach my son. You started this thing called Blueprint Baseball, which, you know, I on my phone yesterday there was pictures popping up. So I guess you get like all these memories and whatnot. And I'm looking at, you know, Sean with a Blueprint uniform. He must have been 3 years old, guys. I have no, like 3. And I'm looking at, you know, Devin and
Same kids.
Marco and Christian and little Lewis and Sebastian and all these kids, and now we're coaching them in you know, in 7U, and it's just amazing. It's amazing that, like my buddy always tells me, you know, big things come from small beginnings. And this little thing, this little vision that you had, I think it's just like a business, right? Like you have a vision, you know you want to start somewhere, you know where it's going to go, but you just don't know when it's going to get there and how it's going to get there. And I think that you've established a foundation for Little League Baseball that, in my opinion, the country should be adopting and paying attention to. What you're teaching these kids from a mindset is unbelievable. And for those of you who are listening to this, Blueprint Baseball is an organization that was started by Carlos de la Osa. He wanted to coach his 3 kids. He had entertained other options that weren't that were solvent at one point, but I think he saw something different. Obviously, his baseball background, his mindset, and he felt that he could do it better. And I think he is, guys. I think he's proving that he's doing it much better. And I support that statement 1,000%. You are doing it the right way. You're leading children to God. You're leading children to their families. You're leading children to love a game that's going to give them so much for life. And I want you to talk about how Blueprint started, why Blueprint started, and where your heart took you there, because you have a big firm that you have client demands. You're very successful at what you do. You're only going to grow, but you've found something else that keeps your life busy. And I want to know what's that drive. There's something inside of you.
So like you said, you know, we have these backgrounds, right? We're blessed with these backgrounds. It's almost like you've read the book already. So like, let's go backwards. So like, you've read the book, you know the outcomes, you know, you've seen it, you've lived it. So like, know what you want, you know, establish that, and then do some real soul searching for, you know, how do I get there? You know, and how do I from what I want, how do I start here and get the path to, you know, to whatever it is. And I say this very broad, you know, because it doesn't apply to baseball. It applies to whatever it is you're doing. So take your experiences, look at your faults, look at your environment, like, and the people that were around you did their best job to get you there. Now you got a whole new knowledge. You have a whole new skill set. You know, you took it further. You've seen it farther. So like, you start to like prioritize what matters, what doesn't matter. And I think the big thing is to have perspective, you know, and never lose perspective. So this whole thing, right, how it started, first of all, like, I don't think there's a right or wrong, you know, in anything I'm about to say, or it's just, this is who we are as people, and we're gonna stay true to us, and this is the path we've chosen. You know, not to say that there's different paths that don't get you there.
I'm with you.
No one knows the real, if everybody knew the real formula, but the one guarantee I have is we're gonna make good men. You know, that's a guarantee, that's not a, so in looking at development, looking at, okay, our kids are gonna play baseball, all right? So let's talk development. Let's talk order of operations. Let's talk what matters, what doesn't matter. Let's talk perspective, right? Because while we're gonna coach, and yes, you're gonna be a coach, but you're also a father. You're also a father, right? So in terms of value, like, and the first thing I look at is, okay, I gotta use this game to enhance my relationship with my son, you know? I think as fathers,
we've seen it do the opposite.
oh my God, we've lived it. How many friends do we have that the relationship is so adversarial? You know, because, and again, I don't mean this in a bad way. Like, it's just, you grow up and you do things with the knowledge you have at the time. Everything for us growing up was result-based. You know, and while, yeah, you know, results are results, and you either got them or you don't. But understand everything that goes into that result. Understand process, understand body, understand, you know, real critiquing of the person you're looking at in a game of failure. You know, so let's take it backwards, right? Kids are gonna start to play baseball, right? For me, number one, okay, the path to pro ball. Let's say, and we do this with all the kids, like, I'm not that guy, you're not that guy. I'll never tell a kid, hey, you won't make it because only 1% of, bro, you wanna go make it, go do it. Like, put your head down and do it. Somebody's gotta do it. Do it. So I'll never take that away because that's the beginning of mindset. You know, if I pull that from you.
Well, it's like telling a kid that he has a, what's the difference between telling a kid that who wants to be an entrepreneur and you're saying, well, that's a long shot. Well, everything in life's a long shot, right?
No, dream, man, dream.
Go
dream,
big, dude.
dream, you know, like dream, it's okay, you know? But now you gotta let them develop that on their own, and you gotta really, in my opinion, you know, there's an order to doing things. There's an order, we had this conversation a little while ago, it's almost like cooking. You're cooking a meal, you know, the ingredients gotta be simple. You know, the timing of your cooking has to be right. You know, you overcook at the beginning, you know, there's a reason everybody likes slow cooked meals. You know, so let's go to development. What's the first step in development? At, you know, 4, 5, 6, whatever, when they start, you know, fall in love with it. You know, if you're gonna get to the end result, if you're gonna get to Major League Baseball, it's gotta come from the individual that's doing it. It can't come from mom, it can't come from dad. If I gotta be 15, if you're gonna be 15, 16 or in high school and I'm your driving force, this isn't for you, you know? And we could get into that in a second, but so step one, and I don't know why, I don't wanna say this town or, you know, it just goes on. I don't know why the word fun has become a bad word. You know, it's like everybody wants a 5 and a 6-year-old grind, which yes, grind is real and grind, like we've done it. And I don't know people that have grinded harder than us. But develop a love and a passion first. It's okay to fail. You know, it's okay. You're my son, I love you. Like, there's not a result you're gonna produce on the field right now, a result that's gonna affect our relationship.
And to add, and it's why, and you know, I always tell the kids this when we're done playing, and I think I've told you this, I learned this from reading Kobe Bryant's book, you know, Kobe was one of the best, he's a Hall of Famer, right? God, may his soul rest in peace. He was sitting at a hamburger joint with his father at 12 years old, wasn't scoring points, his game wasn't where it needed to be, and he wanted to quit. And his father told him these words that you've already implanted as your blueprint, and they're impactful words. And he said, Kobe, I don't care if you're the worst player on the field, on the court, or if you don't score a point. I just want you to know one thing. As your dad, I just love to watch you play.
I had goosebumps.
And man, that chokes me up because the next, when Kobe's father told him that, Kobe says in the book, it was like taking amounts of weights and says, man, my dad's gonna love me no matter what.
Yeah, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. So like I think that's the first, like, so
my dad doesn't care.
Yeah, we're talking about this thing we've developed and these mindsets, and like, I hope this comes off right because there's so much depth to it. Things that look so simple they're actually, from a psychological standpoint and a mental standpoint and you're doing something for a very specific reason standpoint, they are like complex. So we're talking about Major League Baseball and the path there, and what is the path there. So the first thing we're trying to do at 4, 5, 6, 7, right, is establish that. Let's establish some ground rules, right, about what's important, what's not, what's a priority, what's not. You know, our relationship, I love you, okay, period. And I need, as a parent, I gotta accept this kid might not want to play this game, you know. It needs to come from the kids. It needs to come from the athlete. Now, I'm gonna guide you down that path, but let's go on step 1. I gotta get you to fall in love with this game, right? This is what I want. I want for you a chance at pro ball. Okay, let's fall in love with baseball, you know? And that's difficult in the environment we live in Miami, which is not really conducive to that. It gets really misconstrued, but we do things out of the norm to let these kids fall in love with the game, you know? And it
You
is
said a key word.
design.
You said a key word, and it's a word that triggers a lot in me. And it's a word that is it's like you said, people aren't listening, right? Or they don't, the little things, right? Environment.
Oh, God.
I am a huge advocate of, from a life perspective,
Yeah.
of individuals understanding that the environment that they surround themselves in
It's everything.
is everything. And one of the things that our children have, they're very blessed, and they're in a healthy environment, because as fathers, we're not perfect, but we've made a conscious effort to create that environment. My pain, and one of the things that is that we try to, like, I went through in different seasons of my life, is when you're not in a healthy environment, being aware of that and not being afraid to change that environment, and knowing that you have a choice, because sometimes, again, not to drift off, but sometimes kids are in this environment that's not healthy, and they think that they don't have a choice.
Correct. I think, yeah, that's key. That's key, man. And so we're doing this, right? And we're working on those aspects. Like, so like, if we're gonna do this, what are the things that, what assets can we bring to the table for these kids? And we haven't even gotten into like all the detail yet, right? But in the design of Blueprint, right? Like, what is it? Why? Or how is it? Okay. This was simple, right? Like, our kids are gonna start playing. We kind of looked around at the options, and there's a lot of good options out there. I'm not taking away from anything. But man, I know I have this skill set. I wanna do this. I want to do this. There's no other reason. So what do? Okay, I look at all my friends that I grew up playing with, my nucleus, my circle of baseball relationships that I've created with people that I think are, man, just good human beings, and that have been there. I've been there and done that, right? So what do? Hey, Fernie, you want to coach your kid? Our boys are the same age. You want to coach your kid? Hey, D, you want to coach your kid? Hey, and this whole thing just started to happen of like, you know, and the reason I call a guy like you, a guy like Joey Perez, a guy like, you know, Raul or Nick, all these guys that are on these kids, is you can see through all the things that get in the way of that path, and the things that actually matter to the ultimate goal, whatever the ultimate goal. And when I say ultimate goal, I'll say Major League Baseball, but the reality is maximizing potential for every, you know, whatever we have, whatever kids we have, hey, just maximize your potential. Whether that means Little League, whether that means high school, college, Major League Baseball, whatever it is, just, you have X amount of potential. Let's maximize that. And let's create a space and an environment to allow you to maximize that. So
I think what from the outside looking in, and even though I coach, I feel like you're leading. I'm there to help you, assist you. I'm your assistant. You're doing something that's very special, and this has. It's hard to It's hard to measure, but you've enhanced the Little League experience for these kids. And for some of these kids, some of them may not play high school baseball.
No, they may not, and that's fine.
We don't know.
So that, you know what, that's part of it.
They're gonna love that they...
But that's part of it, right? Is like, as a parent, you know, a lot of guys say, you know, I don't need my kids to play baseball. We've had this conversation. If they want to go, you know, one of them does taekwondo. If he tells me tomorrow, hey, I'm going to pursue this, like, all right, cool, man, we're good. I don't need my kids to walk whatever path I walked. Now, if they want to, bro, I'll hold your hand. I'll guide you.
I'm all in.
I'll take you wherever you want to go for whatever you want to do, whatever ride you want to go on. But I think parents, you know, the starting point of all this, you know, and like where we're at and letting these kids fall in love with this, you got to be like, you got to be good with that. You got to be good with that. You got to be good with, yo, if it's just Little League and that was maximized potential, hey, I'm going to give you every opportunity and every tool and you take it and do what you can. If it's just Little League, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, if it's high school and nothing beyond, that's fine too. You know, and if you do ultimately get there, you know, so, you know, you got to find, I think the key component that we've like gotten good at is communicating with our parents. Like we have enough former ball players that have been to the highest level involved to like keep our perspective in check, you know, and just that parent-kid relationship and being good with, hey, my kid's I'm gonna get the max potential out of him, and I'm good with whatever that is. Mm-hmm. That's a hard thing. I don't think enough of us as parents like feel like everybody goes into this thing with the best intentions. I really do, with the best intentions. I think a lot of times we want, you know, some parents might want stuff. It's their wants, well, you know, and that gets in the way of the relationship, you know, and it's a delicate thing because everybody has good intentions.
I think
you know?
I think you're 100% right, and I think that especially in Miami-Dade County where baseball is so competitive, it's been competitive for years. Yeah. We breed ball players, we breed football players. I mean, this is just a hotbed. But I think that the mistake happens when these parents make it about them.
Yeah, and it's not accepting. Yeah, it's kind of not. It's like there's an acceptance thing.
I mean, I see it all the time. I see all these parents that play baseball and then they hate the sport because they feel that the sport wasn't good to them, and then they want their kid to be something. Like, dude, I believe that God has a purpose for your kid, man. And I hate to say this, you ain't gonna beat that. Like, no. The author of that book is just that's the commander in chief.
Yeah, man.
What you do, and I think what we're called to do as parents is we're called to introduce, we're called to lead,
yep.
And we're called to navigate these kids because they're not there yet mentally to navigate their own ship.
No, I agree.
And if you take a step back and you realize everything that's happening around you as a father or as a mother, when you're out there on a Saturday playing baseball with your kid, it's human nature when your kid's up to bat. You want him to do well. You want him to see. You may feel the nerves. And if you don't, then I don't know what type of dad you are. You know. But I think what Blueprint has done is you feel that for a second or two, and then you realize this ain't about me.
Yeah.
Go, have fun.
And that energy.
And that energy amongst each other is
it's powerful, and it's powerful to the player, man. It's like you're freeing the player. So like, let's go back, right? So step one, fall in love with the game. Fall in love with the game on your own merit. Why? Why do we say that? Why do we have fun? You know, why do we literally use the word fun and love on a daily basis with the game, with the kids, with everything? Why? Why do we do that? Why do we you know, go play all these guys in 6U and we have a mom's day, you know, or the moms, you know, other teams are looking at us like we're crazy, like we're making, you know, and it's by design. Why do we want you to fall in love with it? You know, whether you're good or bad, I need you to fall in love with it. I need you to fall in love with it first, because we've been down the road. We're reading the book backwards. We know there's an ending point. You know, when that ending point is, I don't know, but I know prior to that ending point, I know this for a fact. The game is going to put you into a dark hole because it is a game of failure. You will reach the point if you get beyond high school baseball and you get to collegiate baseball, minor league baseball, and then, ultimately there. The game will put you at a place at one point or another where you start questioning, why am I doing this? Because I'm gonna get uncomfortable to the point where whether it's traveling, not having money, being in cities where you don't know anybody, you're gonna start looking around and saying, why am I doing this?
Being in a slump in the game.
Being in a slump, whatever it is, things are just not going well. Look, hey, it's a guarantee. That will happen. This is not like, hey, that might. No, that will happen. So in that moment, and to get past that moment, as someone who's pursuing the game at the highest level, what do you have to grab onto to keep you? It's, man, this is why I play the game. I fell in love with it. I love this game. If you don't have that, fundamentally have that, I almost compare it to like having faith. Faith is a hard thing to learn. Faith is, if you got ingrained with it as a kid, you have it in you, and you almost don't even know you have it in you, but you have it in you. So the love for this thing, right?
It's an evolution.
You need that, because you're gonna find that dark hole. If you have that, and it's pure, right, which I think is different too, it's pure. I think that gets you through those dark holes, and those are the guys who have that thing that they can push forward. Now, if you don't have that, I don't play the game for the right reasons. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this to please others. Then, man, it took you a long time to discover that, and you probably threw away X amount of time that you could have figured out and figured out what it is that you want to do, and you should have been doing that. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. It doesn't need to be baseball, But if it's gonna be, make sure it's because you want it to be.